The most powerful man on earth is trapped. 14 days into a war he cannot win cleanly and cannot exit cleanly. Oil above $100. 13 Americans dead. His own special envoy, Steve Witkoff, stood before a camera this week and was asked one simple question: how does this war end? And he said, out loud, on the record to the entire world, I don't know. The man Trump sent to negotiate the most important conflict of 2026 does not know how it ends. And right now, tonight, the clock is running on a window that may already be closing. A window that, if missed, could lock the world into a conflict with consequences nobody has fully mapped. And the decision sitting on Donald Trump's desk in the next 48 hours is the most consequential choice any American president has faced in a generation. Does he keep bombing, or does he take the exit? Welcome. Subscribe right now, because we are going to lay out both sides of this decision with complete clarity. What happens if Trump stays in? What happens if Trump gets out? And why neither option is survivable without enormous cost. This is the impossible choice, and the world is waiting for the answer. Let's go. Here's the situation on the ground right now, stripped of all spin. 14 days in, the U.S. and Israel have launched over 5,000 strikes across 26 of Iran's 31 provinces. The supreme leader is dead, the military command is decapitated, 300 ballistic missile launchers have been destroyed, Iran's navy is on the ocean floor, the nuclear facilities have been hit again and again. By every conventional military metric, the United States and Israel are winning. And yet, the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Iran's new supreme leader is in a bunker vowing generational vengeance. The IRGC told the world on state television that Iran will determine when this war ends. Iran's president laid out official ceasefire conditions: recognition of Iran's legitimate rights, financial reparations for the destruction caused, and firm international guarantees against any future attack. Trump's response to those conditions has been silence wrapped in boasting. His press secretary said he will accept nothing less than what he decides counts as surrender. That gap between Iran's conditions and Trump's position is not a negotiating space. It is a chasm. And in the middle of that chasm, the global economy is bleeding out in real time. Oil is at $101 per barrel today, up 55% since February 28th. The IMF chief calculated this week that every 10% rise in energy prices adds nearly 0.5% to global inflation. 55% up. Do that math and understand what it means for every family, every farmer, every business, every government on Earth that is not party to this war but is paying its price every single day. The World Food Program is warning of a cascading food security crisis because 50% of global fertilizer exports flow through the region being bombed. Bangladesh closed universities, Pakistan declared 4-day work weeks, and Citibank locked its doors across the Middle East. That is the world as it stands today. Now here are the 2 doors in front of Trump. Door number 1, keep going, intensify, push for regime collapse. This is Netanyahu's preference. This is what Hegseth means when he says today is the most intense bombing day yet. The theory is that the cumulative military pressure eventually breaks something, either the regime's will, or the loyalty of the IRGC, or the patience of the Iranian population. The theory relies on something snapping inside Iran before something snaps inside America. The problem with door number 1 is everything the evidence tells us about it. The National Intelligence Council assessed before this war began that bombing would not produce regime change. The regime installed a new supreme leader within days, more hardline than the one America killed. The IRGC is actively ignoring the civilian president's orders to stop striking Gulf states. There is no unified opposition ready to fill a political vacuum, and the bombs are costing $5.6 billion every 2 days in munitions alone, burning through stockpiles that take years to rebuild, while Iran deliberately rations its own arsenal for a longer war. Experts at Brookings, at the University of Sydney, at ACLED, at the London School of Economics are all saying the same thing with different words. Without a ground force, without a credible alternative government, without a political plan for the day after, bombing can degrade Iran's military forever, and the regime will still be standing in some form when the bombs stop, and the new supreme leader in his bunker will still be calling it a victory. Door number 2, take the exit. Accept Putin's mediation framework. Accept Iran's conditions as a starting point for negotiation. Dress it up as unconditional surrender through the magic of Trump's branding. Call it the greatest deal in the history of deals. Declare oil will drop, gas will drop, and America won. Walk away. The problem with door number 2 is that it may already be too late to walk away cleanly. Iran's conditions include reparations. No American president in the history of the Republic has paid war reparations to an adversary after a military campaign. If Trump agrees to that, the domestic political fallout would be catastrophic. His own base, already fractured by calling him a traitor for starting the war, would finish the demolition job for agreeing to pay for it. And more importantly, what happens to the nuclear program? Iran's new supreme leader is more pro-nuclear than his father. Iran's parliament began drafting a proposal to exit the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty during this war. Leave without a verified, permanent nuclear deal, and you have spent 13 American lives, $5.6 billion every 2 days, and 55% of global oil supply stability to achieve nothing that lasts. And there's a third dimension to this decision that neither door fully resolves. Israel. Trump told the Times of Israel directly that ending this war will be a mutual decision with Netanyahu, a co-equal decision with a foreign leader whose stated objective, regime change, goes far beyond anything Trump has publicly committed to. Netanyahu is not in a hurry. Israel's society is mobilized for this war in a way America's is not. Israel added $9 billion to its defense budget. Israel's foreign minister said they will stop when they and their partners decide. There is no daylight between Israel's timeline and Trump's as long as Trump keeps saying it is a mutual decision. Which means Trump cannot exit this war unilaterally without fracturing the most important alliance in U.S. Middle East policy, and he cannot stay in this war indefinitely without fracturing his domestic coalition, his economic legacy, and every alliance in the Western world that is already publicly questioning the legality and the judgment of this operation. That is the impossible choice. You cannot win it the fast way because regime change by bombing alone does not work according to every intelligence and academic assessment available. You cannot exit it the easy way because Iran's conditions are politically unacceptable and Israel has veto power over the decision. You cannot stay forever because the economic damage compounds every week and the midterms are 8 months away. And you cannot declare victory credibly because the enemy is still standing, still firing, still telling the world it decides when this ends. Trump has about 48 hours before the diplomatic window that Putin opened with that phone call starts closing. Russia is mediating, China is pushing. Iran's president has stated conditions publicly, creating a diplomatic record that expires the moment the next wave of strikes destroys whatever goodwill it took to produce. The off-ramp exists right now, today. It will not exist in the same form next week. And history is merciless about these moments, the moments when a door is open and a president does not walk through it. Vietnam had those moments, Iraq had those moments, Afghanistan had those moments. In every case, the cost of the missed window was measured in years, in trillions, in thousands of lives that did not have to end the way they did. 14 days in, 13 Americans dead, 140 Iranian wounded, 1,300 Iranian civilians confirmed dead, 175 children killed in a school, the Strait of Hormuz closed, oil at $100, the world economy bleeding, America's alliances fracturing, Russia repositioning, China filling every vacuum, and Trump's own special envoy saying he does not know how it ends. 48 hours, one impossible choice, and a world holding its breath to find out whether the most powerful man on earth has the wisdom to take a door that looks like retreat in order to prevent something that looks like catastrophe. History is watching, the clock is running, and the decision has not been made. Drop everything you are thinking in the comments right now. Which door should Trump take? Subscribe to this channel immediately. Share this video with everyone who needs to understand what is at stake in the next 48 hours. We will see you in the next one.